Good morning. Welcome back. Everyday Struggle Nadeska Academics and Wayno here.
What's good?
Another great day?
Yes.
Another fabulous day.
Fabulous, you say.
Listen, I'm running on a little sleep, but I'm excited about a lot of things recently.
What are you so excited about?
Oh,
you dropped new music yesterday, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Wayno knows the feeling of dropping music. I don't know. Last night it's like an exciting moment that I don't know. Every time I drop songs, I like it.
How was the critical reception? Hot or not?
Good and bad.
Good and bad?
I mean, it was fire and shit. Same time.
Okay. All right. Wayno, you listen to the new music from Academics over here?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
Wayno is bumping it in the Rolls Royce truck he got.
Not bumping that.
You gotta tell the people you caught the Rolls Royce truck, bro.
I haven't, but when I do, everybody shall know. Everybody shall know.
All right, guys, let's get into this show. We're going to start with a quick update on 21 Savage. So it sounds like he's finally been granted bond for release after spending over a week in federal immigration custody. He's expected to be freed today, hopefully by the time this episode airs. And according to TMZ, he's awaiting his deportation hearing. So 21's lawyers issued a statement confirming that they've been in talks with ICE since he got locked up. And we also got a nice little note from 21. He says that while he wasn't present at the Grammy Awards, he was there in spirit and is grateful for the support from around the world and is more than ever ready to be with his loved ones and continue making music that brings people together. We hope he's home soon.
Yeah.
This is so fortunate for 21 Savage. And by the way, Wayno said it yesterday, because I do hear everyone say, well, y'all better keep that same energy when it's somebody else, not 21. And yes, he's garnered a lot of support. And to be honest, this is not usual. Again, immigration, they give zero fucks. I talked to, again, I'm friends with a lot of immigrants, people who are going through the process, people who are trying to get right and all that. And shoot, I remember speaking to them even like this weekend, and they all said, they're like, I ain't gonna lie, if it happens how it normally happens to most people, he's fucked. Because that deportation stuff, they keep you in the worst conditions possible until they literally don't even want to bring you to court. They want you to say, please just send me back to wherever I'm at. Because as soon as you sign them papers, you ain't never coming back, and they get you the hell out of here without even a court hearing. You get me? But if you're going to await the court hearing, they're trying to make it life on or hell on earth for you. So the fact that he was able to get a bond hearing and also be granted bond, I think is incredibly fortunate, and I think he feels that way too, because he appreciates all the support and he's very cognizant of what's going on. So I'm super happy for him. He got kids. I can't wait for him to get home.
Must be missing his family.
Yeah, he's that. I mean, 21 is in America. He's grown up in America his whole entire life. So for them to send him somewhere that he's never been would be kind of crazy. Because I pretty much doubt that he's ever been there before. So it's good that they made one step in progress towards his case. The only thing now is like he has to have a deportation hearing, right? Which, like you said, I don't know how that's going to go, but hopefully it's on his side. You know?
It sounds like he has a very strong legal team with him, and then we know like Jay-Z also and Roc Nation stepped in to help. So fingers crossed that things really work out for him. We want him to stay. We need more music. We want him to tour and support this great album he just dropped. So we're wishing him the best.
And also, now that he's free, hopefully he could at least start to speak on his plight and his struggle with even immigration and like trying to become legal. And hopefully like he kind of, I believe like, you see, for example, Meek Mill, like when everybody supports you that much and you're locked down and you get free, you kind of do hold some responsibility to kind of like fly that flag of, yo, I'm going to represent the people that don't have a voice who won't get as much support as me. So I hope 21, when he comes out, he can represent others going through the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so hopefully we have some more good news for you guys tomorrow.
Right.
So yesterday we also talked about Soulja Boy and T.I. deciding, or earlier this week, I don't know what day it is anymore, rappers boycotting Gucci over the blackface sweater that caused a lot of controversy, but Kodak Black, not with the boycott, he hopped on, I believe, Instagram Live or somewhere on Instagram to explain why he thinks black people are just doing too much right now.
I'm black, right? And I'm thug to the bone, right? I fuck with white people, right? But sometimes black people do be reaching for no reason, just be reaching for little shit. Them people ain't do nothing. Them people ain't say nothing about no racist shit. Them people just had a little ski mask. It's all kind of ski masks in the world, bro.
I know there's a lot of people out there who spent some good money on some nice Gucci pieces right now who are probably feeling conflicted, but what do you guys think about Kodak's take on this?
I mean, first off, like...
Floyd ain't feeling conflicted.
Yeah,
that
Floyd
nigga said
we don't expect much from him.
He talking like that too, because Floyd could fight. You know what I mean? So that's why he talking like that. But I don't look to Kodak for him to say, and I'm not. This is not a knock on him because he actually does make like conscious street music sometimes, but I don't look for him to say anything intelligent in that space on a political or social view. Like, I'm not looking to Kodak for that. So this is not nothing I didn't expect him to say. I think he's misinformed. You know, I think he's misinformed. I mean, it's easy to look at it as just a ski mask, but the icing on the cake is them putting them red lips around it. Like, you know, I think that if the red lips wasn't on it, people would look at it a little bit differently, but the red lips is on it. We know the history of blackface. I encourage people who have never seen the movie Bamboozled to go watch it, because it tells a lot about the stories of minstrel shows and blackface, etc. But I mean, I'm not looking for Kodak to say nothing positive in this sense, you know? That's why for certain people, you got to take them out the conversation of something like this.
Right. I'm surprised you even jumped into the conversation. Oh.
What I will say is that I'm not gonna knock Kodak Black for this. Black people, we aren't a monolith. We aren't a monolith. And I'm gonna draw a distinction between how he approached it and how Floyd approached it. Floyd basically said, nigga, I got too much money to be on some boycott shit with y'all broke ass niggas. That's
what does that even mean?
Well, that's essentially how Floyd, even though he did throw in at the end, like he Black lives do matter to him. But he basically said, y'all boycott won't stop his drip. Right, and that was very much different it's very much different than Kodak. You're right. He might need to be educated a bit, but it shows he is thinking somewhat. Where he's like, listen, I'm looking at it, and maybe he doesn't know the history. So you know, sometimes you can't really knock someone for not being all the way informed. You should then try to inform and then see if they make different decisions. But I think in his view, he feels like I don't see what's really. I didn't see what's wrong. I look at that as a ski mask, right? And again, you're right. There's a lot of history that would suggest that even though on the surface it's a ski mask, there's a lot of hidden messages and coded messages that have very huge racial overtones, just like shit we've seen with cartoons. All them motherfuckers got exposed.
Mr. Popo on Dragon Ball Z is a blackface, like, you know what I mean? Like
exactly. So I would hope that people don't, you know, like with Floyd, I seen Walker put up a message and it was basically like, man, fuck out of here, man. Like, I can't believe you're saying that.
Yeah.
With Kodak, I would hope that people would at least embrace him and say, yo, let me give you a little bit more game on what's going on. Because he really wasn't, him saying I'm still wear it, wasn't saying fuck y'all and y'all boycott it. He was just saying, I don't get it. I feel like y'all reach it. Yeah. So I'm going to keep doing it. And for those people, you have to understand not everybody gets it.
But Kodak has always had like controversial, like even lyrics and things he said about black women. And I do like his music. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't like his music. But he said shit before like, I'm already black, don't need a black bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like he said certain things that you'd be like, whoa. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not really surprised by him saying any of this. I think like, I just think like this, right? Why does Gucci hold so much power? To me, the shit is not that dope. And I've always felt like that. I know that people just invest in the price of it. That's what it is. The price tells people that it's fly.
But we all do it on some level.
Definitely on certain levels. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I would buy a pair of $5 sneakers. Like, I'm not to knock them, because the sneakers that I buy only probably cost $5 to make. Right? I have on Jordans. They probably only cost $5 to make, but I'm not.
The Space Jam 2020s, man.
No, but seriously though, I think that like the problem is that we got to stop highlighting people who shouldn't even have a say in the conversation sometimes. Like, I'm not looking for him to say anything in that space of what he think. Like,
it's just remember that he's so influential to a group of people,
right?
That, you know what I mean, they might absorb the message and
well, you know,
about it.
Fortunately, he's still young, but again, when someone is misinformed, I do feel like we should try to inform him, which is just much different than someone just blatantly saying, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You get me? Like, I remember notoriously when I think, was it 60 Minutes? I can't remember which it was, but it was a sit down, I believe, with Katie Couric, and we heard Wayne say, basically.
That's when he said I'm a gangbanger?
No. He said all that Black Lives Matter. I ain't into that.
Okay. Yeah, right.
It's all lives matter to me. And he seemed not only misinformed, but kind of very disrespectful to a real plight going on.
Yeah.
Those people maybe not. Kodak, what I will agree with you, if you're gonna form that context, so I wouldn't even argue that, to be honest, is that Kodak does have some self-identifying issues. Some males of dark skin complexion do, where it almost, there's some self-hateness going on. But he doesn't like anyone with his skin complexion. He speaks about it negatively. Does that directly make him feel like a clearly racist symbol or message ain't racist? Possibly. But that could be two separate issues. I think Kodak needs to realize the power of melanin. Like, I don't think he likes how he looks.
I think also people gotta start understanding that money shit don't mean nothing, man. Like, they will treat you, and especially for a person like a Floyd Mayweather, because like, I don't care how much money you make, slip up, they gonna treat you like a nigga. Like, this is America. Let's not forget that. And that's why I say we got to stop empowering. We got to stop empowering not just the brands, but empower ourselves a little bit more. I'm not gonna tell nobody what they should have spent, what they should have shouldn't spend no money on. I know what I'm gonna spend my money on. But I just feel like we hold all of these things high that really don't mean shit to us.
I feel bad for Floyd because I feel like Floyd has made a lot of opinions about things that affect black people just based on selfish reasons, because he felt black people in general haven't supported him as he felt they should have, like in boxing and so forth.
Well, do he mean like people like in the sport? Because I don't know one person that's black that bet against Floyd. You know what I'm saying?
You don't bet against Floyd, but he's realized along the way.
When it comes to like social issues.
No, like they won't bet against him, but niggas, he said himself, niggas watch me to see me lose. It's one of those things where you feel like people are against you, and people aren't for you.
And he feels like that's black people.
And by the way, to give some context, Floyd also said he's had this all about me approach, and I was using that to say maybe that's why he has that approach. Because I remember one time they said, hey Floyd, yo, you've made so much millions, almost $1 billion in your boxing career. Will you donate anything to Africa? You know what the first thing he said? He said, what the fuck has Africa ever done for me?
Wow.
That's what he said. And in his interpretation, it was like, listen, y'all wonder what I could do for others. What have you done for me? If you listen to the same thing where he was talking about this same situation with Gucci, at the end of his rant, he said, everybody who wants me to be down with this boycott or has a problem, who thinks I should be boycotting with them, have they supported the money team?
What the fuck does Gucci do for the money team? Like you still gotta go. You don't get no discount. You still gotta go in there and spend 40 bands to get 4 bags worth of clothes.
But it's that disassociation. Of course, wealth adds to it. It's that disassociation from just even social causes and just the fact that you're black, because you feel like black people don't support you on some shit. So you feel like, why should I rock with y'all when y'all got some shit going on when I don't give a fuck because I'm rich?
What's crazy is like, that's why I said y'all. I'm like, what the fuck you mean y'all? Like, get pulled over late at night. You see how they treat your ass? Like let's not. I can't stand that entertainers.
But I guess when you haven't been in that situation for so long, like you said, you just become disconnected from it.
But it still can happen though, and that's the thing. I want people to like, please remember, I don't care how much money you got, it will not change this. And it will not, we get treated certain ways just because of this. I can't, like, I wouldn't want to help the way I was born. I was born black, but people will treat you a certain way based on your appearance alone. And that's a strong issue, and money can't erase that. And I feel like if you have a platform and you're such a great speaker, that goes to show you the difference between a Muhammad Ali and a Floyd Mayweather. I mean, Muhammad Ali went to prison. He sacrificed his freedom to make a stance for people based on us being drafted into the war and all of this crazy shit. So it's like, then we have this side.
He was one of a kind because we also had OJ, who didn't identify with us at all.
Exactly,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
It's just, I don't know. For me, I would never compromise my integrity on my people because I want to get fly.
Right.
You know, and especially for a brand that has never supported, fuck supporting me, what have you done for my people? That's how I feel about it. Like, he could feel however he wants, but that's how I feel about it.
All right, well, so Lil Pump also had something to add to this conversation. Obviously, Gucci Gang is his biggest hit today, a mega hit. So here's what he had to say about the boycott.
Hey, listen, and with all that shit going on with Gucci, I am not supporting that shit. Niggas is not supporting that shit going on with Gucci, all that racist shit. No, sir. No, sir. But listen, though, that song that changed my life, so that's the only reason why I will keep performing that song, because that's the song that changed my life.
So we coming downstairs and
I went from broke to rich to that song, so, you know, it is what it is.
All right, can you appreciate his stance here? You can't go take the song back, you know what I mean? But at least he's on record saying, I don't support what they're doing.
Well, no, he has to perform the song because that's what people are coming to see him perform.
Right.
Like, that's it. But at the same time, that's why making a record like a Gucci Gang is just stupid to me. Because, like, it's just dumb. Like, you know how many kids You know how many kids ask their parents probably for their birthday gift to be a Gucci sweater or a Gucci belt or a Gucci headband? How many sales this kid has possibly drove towards Gucci? And they probably don't even know who the fuck he is. Or if they did see him, like, well, okay, but we're not into that.
Yeah.
So it's like you created a song that was a big, like it was the biggest part of his career, and have driven so much traffic there for nothing. And of course, he couldn't change it to Nike Gang or something else. Like, it couldn't have been that.
I couldn't
but-
predict.
And by the way, it's very easy to say Gucci, after getting all that free promotion from Lil Pump, they didn't even give that nigga a sweater free. You get me?
My point exactly.
So not only did he blow hundreds of thousands, which while promoting the song, he would go back to the Gucci store to buy shit to show off the receipt, right? And of course, he was looking at it like, yo, that's promo. The store and the brand ain't saying, oh, thank you, Lil Pump. You are making us look fire out here with his Gucci Gang song. If anything, they're like, nigga, just keep dancing and keep sending niggas our way.
Exactly.
Very easy. You know, enlightenment comes in stages, and I'm glad he's starting to hear. By the way, you got to realize, the context does matter, especially with Lil Pump. Lil Pump just came off a really embarrassing episode for him, where he dropped a song, the Butterflies Door song, and he mentioned something that the Asian community considered derogative, right? And he didn't know at the time. I could tell you personally, he felt embarrassed. He didn't mean it to have any ill will, but Lil Pump, I mean, he is a lyrical genius according to him, but like, he's not fucking penning the most, you know, like super well thought out stuff to, you know, whatever. And yeah, that line came across, but he's now more cognizant after that episode. He said the right thing here. Yo, I got to perform a song, change my life. I think the next stage of enlightenment for him will realize that you won't even have to speak on shit like this if the majority of your songs isn't praising designer shit. Like, you have another song where you're not saying Gucci, but you're basically saying you're flexing on everybody in designer. And that message that you send out really empowers people to go fuck with these brands that
So here's the thing. Maybe he learns a lesson from this. Like, you won't make a song and put like Gucci in the title in the future, but brands have always been a big part of hip hop. Back to like your outfit just reminded me, like my Adidas. Like, we know the power that we
Flexing
have.
and
And the thing
fashion
is, sometimes people genuinely love the brands. You love the style. So then, are we saying that every artist just needs to be really careful about which brands they actually mention and promote? Because they're not going to stop.
I mean,
they're
I
still
think-
going to buy.
I think I'm sorry.
No,
finish.
you could continue.
Well, I think that because Adidas, when Run DMC did their thing, they didn't jump on immediately either. You know, a lot of these brands start off as performance brands. Well, they start off as like athletic performance brands, and then they end up going into lifestyle. Like, when you go on Nike, you have to look up lifestyle, the lifestyle tab. They buy Jordans, which that was a basketball performance shoe, an energy shoe. So I think that with you being an artist, you have to know who you are immediately. I mean, like, Lupe talked about this before, that McDonald's wanted to endorse him, but he's a Muslim and he doesn't eat pork, and they sell a lot of pork products, so he wouldn't do stuff with McDonald's. So I think, like, if you immediately know what you're going after and you're not just chasing the bag, because that same money's going to come from somewhere else anyway, you can figure out what brands you want to work with, and you should find brands that identify with you. We should not be selling, like, this whole designer thing, that designer
Because they're aspirational brands, and like our whole culture is about, you know, we're aspiring to be great and rich and successful.
It's two different ways how to do things, and I think these artists do learn though. I think you gotta learn.
Yeah, he's not gonna make a Gucci Gang title again.
Yeah, the song changed your life, but you did basically a whole promo campaign promoting them. They didn't even say, you know what? We know you're problematic at times, but let's spottily just insert them into certain shit. Show the love back. No reciprocation. That's different than you see some other brands. And I think more of the starter brands who know they need the culture, they show love to the culture quicker than the brands that's been here. They'll be like, nigga, we've been here before you start rapping, before you were born. We're going to be here afterwards.
Doesn't he have I'm sorry, real quick. Doesn't he have a Gucci tattoo on his face as well?
Yeah, that's going to be
This shit is fucking ridiculous. Like, this is what I'm saying. This shit is fucking ridiculous. You're tattooing you've never even shook the hand of the owner, or even, let's say if somebody did some content and they was like, okay, 10 things about Gucci, and they asked Lil Pump about it, and he wouldn't know. I promise you, he wouldn't know the year the shit started, or who was the first designer, who was the first male modeled or red on the runway, none of that. And he tattooed the shit on his face and made a song about it. And like you said, like, any other company would have paid millions of dollars for somebody to run that sort of campaign.
Hey, what I will say, like, to some of the up-and-coming companies who notice that, like, Fashion Nova is one of them I could realize they're really in touch with the culture. They see Blueface, who's popular, he's getting popular. He mentioned them in the song, Rather than just be like, all right, we promote it all everywhere else, just keep rapping about us. They reach out and be like, yo, we like what you did. Let's do something where we can make it beneficial for you. And also probably even incentivize you that if you're missing a bar, just throw her name in it. You get me? That's at least working with people. Like, Gucci, you tattooing a shit on your face, you spending so much money and nobody give a fuck.
But guess what? But the reason why, and a lot of people in hip hop shun the whole Fashion Nova thing because of the price point. Only because
too cheap, it's too affordable.
Exactly, because it's affordable. So because it's affordable, they're like, oh, that shit can't be good. You know what I mean? Them shit's gonna tear the same exact way. That's why we gotta get more in touch of who we are and have more knowledge of self as opposed to doing all of this bullshit.
Wayno, if I find out that you have a fucking Rockaway tattoo, bro, I'm done with you.
Only thing I did have, no, listen, only thing Gucci I did have, I had a Gucci watch.
What happened to it?
I mean, I haven't worn it in a while.
Wayno, let's keep the same energy.
Still at the
You
crib?
said
I'm gonna keep it
gonna burn it.
I bought that watch for some crackheads in the barbershop.
Sell that
What?
shit.
I'm dead serious. I bought it for $150.
How you know it worked? A crackhead in the barbershop? I wouldn't trust that shit.
Nigga, he stole it.
How you know it was like a legit Gucci?
I took it to a fucking
Yo,
jewelry
this is
store
life
after.
in New York, academics. You'll never experience this.
Yeah, you don't know nothing about that. But I bought it for a $3,500 watch for $150 in the barbershop.
That's really the steal of a lifetime.
Wait.
Go sell that.
Where'd you bring it to for them to like say it's real?
I took it to a jewelry store.
Oh, I thought you took it back to the store. I'm like,
No.
you stole this nigga?
No. I took it to a jewelry store to get it clean, and I was like, yo, could you check the diamonds on it and everything? And they checked it, and it's like,
There
nah,
were
this is good.
diamonds on that too?
Yeah, it's a diamond. I wore the watch here before.
$150?
$150. They came and they was like, yo, $400. I said, man, I got $150 right now. They was like, all right, fuck it. I could have got them.
Yeah, that's a real crackhead.
That's a real
Hey, listen, man.
Went from 450.
But I'm not wearing that watch. Fuck that watch. I don't care about that shit.
Sell that watch.
Hey,
Get some
listen.
money off of that.
Man,
I throw that shit in the water.
I'm in a 1 year waiting period to see if Gucci does right. Dapper Dan gonna keep us in the loop. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, but one thing prior to all of this, what I did like that they had finally did when they did embrace Dapper Dan is that he has a brownstone in Harlem, and they gave him like his own print, so you could go there and customly make all types of shit. And I thought it was a dope like thing to have like in the neighborhood, because when you go in there, it's kind of like a museum. You walk in there, and you see all the work that Dapper Dan has done. I'm talking about like from the early '80s all the way up until now. So I thought that was pretty dope. But then to take that step forward culturally and then drop this sweater is like such a step back.
I look at now and them, you know, he put out a statement say, hey, they're gonna fly here. Some of the heads of head of Gucci, they're gonna sit in New York and meet. And I look at them like, say again, what do they need to do? Could they come back from this? I heard T.I. said, listen, man, the damage is done. We don't want to hear shit from y'all niggas. No apology.
Right.
Just go. It's over. But will they try to like throw him out there, which they do a lot? You throw out a token black Negro, be like, go tell him we're sorry.
Right.
Tell him to fuck with us again, and tell him we're not that bad, okay? Tell him we pay you good, okay?
Yeah, so if they start giving out endorsement deals to rappers, they circle around and
I don't even
start
wanna see
paying a
that.
little
Like,
pump, you know, then it's everyone.
Honestly, I don't even think they give a fuck. They're gonna wait till their
give a fuck.
They're gonna wait till their Q1 earnings come in, and they're gonna be like, looks good, looks like Q1 of 2018. Sorry.
Exactly. They don't gonna give a fuck.
All right, so our next story, series of unfortunate events here. So on Monday night, Justine Skye got on Twitter to accuse her ex, Sheck West, of allegedly stalking her and her friends and generally being abusive during their relationship. She then accused his team and label of defending him, adding, moral of the story is, if you never put your hands on me, you wouldn't be in this situation and you just keep making it worse. So a few hours after those initial tweets, Sheck West did respond saying, I've chosen to remain silent until now out of respect for actual victims of abuse, but I cannot stand by while lies are repeatedly told about me. I never hit or beat any woman, and I did not beat up or jump anyone. So this continued for a while. Justine eventually posted footage of him even hopping over a fence. She said he was trying to get to her, and also a screenshot of a text message conversation between her and Travis Scott's DJ where she's begging someone to come over. She said she's locked herself in a room, and it seems like he's breaking things. We haven't talked about Sheck West much on this show, but we know Obama was like his big hit.
Wayno put me on. I thought it was Wayno Zars the way that nigga was bumping that.
Yeah, but you know, this goes back to all the conversations we're having, you know, about entertainers where we love their music, but then things like this come out.
Right.
What are we supposed to do as fans and also just people in the media here?
This is super unfortunate. By the way, I had the privilege of meeting Justine Skye. She did an episode of On the Sticks with me. Very nice girl. Again, as fans, as people in the media, as responsible adults, when you see a situation like this, it's it's very weird and interesting how you have to process it and also deal with it, because number one, you want to kind of course, sympathize and believe someone who finally has the courage. But she's been hinting towards this for a while.
Yeah, she has.
Yo, one of y'all favorite rappers, they doing some wild shit, and they did some wild shit to me. And this seems like it might have been a repeat act. And it does make you look at Sheck West, if these things are true, very differently, right? But then I also have to step back because I really don't know everything beyond what I'm seeing, right? And I'm seeing some pieces that would make what Justine is saying. She seems credible. But also, when I look at Sheck West, and of course, he's not giving me a surveillance tape and all that, but he's denying all those things, and I'm like, I don't know if he's conveniently denying it or like, well, of course he's gonna deny, but she says that you sent your friends to go jump someone. He says, I ain't jumped no one. Well, both things could be true.
Right.
You get me? So I'm looking at it to say, where's the full truth? Regardless, what we all know and we all take away from all these things is that no abuse is right.
And it's always hard
Right?
to speak out, right? Because you're telling the truth, people are going to attack you because they like the other person and say you're making it up. And this is not a good situation to be in. Like, why would she want to come out and say all of this publicly?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like promo for her in any way. It's just very difficult.
It's kind of wild. I mean, I met Justine before as well. I've met her mom. I've also met Sheck before. You know, different occasions. I had no idea that they were even messing with each other at one point in time.
Right.
But first off, you know, there's never any reason or any room to put your hands on a woman.
Right.
And then secondly, like you said, I mean, like you say sometimes, like about the court of public opinion. Of course, when the reports come out, it's gonna lean into, you know, her favor. But I don't know. I don't want to say, you know, I'm not. It's a really touchy situation. I don't want to say, yo, Sheck, da 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 da, and then I don't want to say, yo, Justina, that, and then I really don't know what happened.
There's no report from law enforcement or anything like that.
There's nothing.
It's sad that, you know, even though we're in an age of where, you know, women are to be believed, but we do and we have examples of someone saying something that not completely is a lie, but it spins a narrative that could actually ruin somebody else's career as well. And where do you actually pick where you're gonna fall on,
it's like
on
it's
that,
kind of
right? Because
very tough.
if you say, you know what, I don't know if that sounds all the way correct, it's almost like you're siding with the person who may have really done some shit.
Right.
You get it's going back to the X situation. Listen, I was very cool with X, and we've talked intimately, and like I've asked him, like, yo, X, you did that shit, you know, and he would always have things to say. Yo, he was like, he would have a retort for everything, right? And I see evidence, and I'm like, And you start this battle inside your own head of weighing what he said, what you're seeing, what is she saying. Then sometimes, you know, because you're dealing with a victim in an abusive situation, sometimes the victim goes quiet. Oh, like in the case of X, she was like, oh, y'all fans bully me, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Now the victim ain't really talking no more. Now you get the entertainer who you already like, they're speaking, right? And then, you know, it's a very weird or interesting way of like fans and friends of these people, mutual friends, or people who are just observing and getting all this information from the public's view, how we internalize it and how we make our decision. Most of these things, I'm sorry to say, I wish almost the police was involved. At least we could get some fact checking. We could actually be like, hey, these are some things that could be corroborated by a third party, because it's a lot. It's gonna be mudslinging. Yeah. Well, you did this. Well, you did this, but you did this too. And again, I would feel shitty if I sat here and I was like, you know what? I don't know, Justine's telling the truth, and she's really a victim. I feel really shitty.
Right.
And also, I feel really shitty if I'm like, man, this nigga Sheck West is a fucking abuser. He's so whack, and then maybe it's not all the way what we think it is.
So theoretically speaking, right? So she said the label and his team know about this and they're covering that. If that is true, do you feel like the label has some sort of duty to step in here in any sort of way?
I mean, only time the label is gonna really step in is something if like legal action is taken. I think that's the only part that they could really step in because
So as long as this is just Twitter, she doesn't file anything, then they really have no sort of.
it's touchy for them as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's touchy for them as well. Like these labels are run by bigger corporations. Shaka's on Interscope, which I think is under Universal Music Group. We all know Universal Music Group is a very, very large company. So I think it's a very like slippery slope until it's like, and like you said, it could be true either way. But until it's something concrete, you can't really say anything. Because if they come in and they saying they're standing behind their artist and then something else comes out, then they look bad. If they don't stand behind, it's like there's no way to win there.
Yeah.
There's no way to win there.
Yesterday, I was reading a bunch of things. Yeah, this is such a serious allegation. Yeah. And that's why I know some people might be like, damn, why? Like, again, I don't know Sheck West from a can of paint. But I do understand when he tweets out, listen, I've stood in silence for a while, but I'm not going to let people who are real victims, you basically hide behind that. And whether that was true or not, it does make you have to step back to say, let's at least give him a shot at possibly even he's telling the truth. Right? So you have to approach this objectively, even though, to be honest, when I first heard it, I'm like, damn, yo, I met Justine. Again, I never met Sheck. I met Justine. That plays a part into it.
Yeah.
Met her. She's a nice girl. She's nice, sweet. I can't imagine why somebody would want to hurt her. Yeah. Right? Or I could even imagine some of the things she's describing. Yeah. So automatically, I'm leaning a certain type of way, but I have to step back when I see how he's vehemently denying it. And now I'm left to wonder, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You get me?
Tough situation.
I think if we're gonna make some type of declaration, which is so you can't really do it in these type of situations, and
it just feels like this problem is gonna keep coming up, and it's just hard to deal with it every time. It's hard.
I think we have to reserve judgment. We have to reserve judgment until maybe the law gets involved. And I think what she was talking about when it came to the label, she was saying, and I think, again, I'm not accusing the label of anything or Sheck West, but I think the label's liable of doing this. She's saying you have scummy people around you because you are the artist and you're popping off. This is your moment. Mm-hmm. They're covering up for the bad shit you've done. Do I think a label, not saying a label would do some illegal shit, but would probably try to keep certain shit on the hush because they have a particular artist? Fuck yes. Yeah, we don't want the bad shit about our artist who's gonna make us some money to be all over the thing. That's where PR comes in. So if that's the case, I'm glad she's getting her chance to speak out, but I still have to reserve judgment. I wasn't there, and I'm still looking at the evidence to say I feel bad for her.
Yeah. So we'll see if we get any sort of official reports. But in the meantime, Justine, hopefully you're good. Onto some music. Today is the 10-year anniversary of So Far Gone. This should be a holiday for academics. So to celebrate this on Instagram this morning, Drake posted the cover art of the project along with a very long caption thanking all the people who played a major role in the project and his career at the time, including Trey Songz, of course 40, Boy Wonder, LeBron James, and surprisingly, even Kanye. So he actually at Kanye saying, Kanye West, a decade ago, I rapped over your beat because you just made the best shit. And even though you stay wildin' on Twitter these days, I will never forget where you contributed to the game and my career. That's very cute. Yeah, he's definitely out of his mind these days, but that's very nice.
Well, I mean, it would seem that Drake is like giving a little friendly, like, you know, thank you. And I do believe he means like thank you. Mm-hmm. But keep in mind, this was started off like one of the beefs between them when Drake, I guess he's re-releasing the project on Thursday. Maybe remaster, maybe another song, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Drake fans, let's cross out. But anyway, Kanye West denied fucking clearing the sample. Remember when?
Which song was it?
Is it successful? Ain't that did they use it the same?
No, that's not successful. No. That was the original beat. The only beats that I know that was used on here was Ignorant Shit.
No, Say What's Real joint. Yeah, Say What's Real.
Yeah, Say What's Real. That was on 808 on Heartbreak. 808 on Heartbreak.
Exactly. So if he denied clearing the sample, basically that's Kanye also say fuck you nigga after Drake called him to apologize and also threaten him, which was weird, right? Remember he was like, yo, Drake called me, bro. Oh, yeah. We ain't talk. And then Drake called him and he tweeted out, was like, yo, Drake called me to threaten me. No, he said Drake called.
More threats.
He apologized.
More threats.
Still not clear. Right?
Tweaking.
So I don't know how this process is going to come out. I don't think these two are necessarily friends. I look at this moment as, damn, 10 years is a long time. And I want to say, I want to ask Wayno. Yeah. I consider, you know, one of the great things about Jay, he pretty much, he's spanned 2 decades. I think Drake ran that decade, at least 80-90% of that decade he was at the top.
Yeah.
How do you rate that decade compared to any artist? Doesn't have to be Jay.
Shit, I think that like Drake really changed music around this time, and like, because every time you say singing and rapping, then you get well, Ja Rule was singing and 50 was singing. No, they were not singing the way Drake was singing.
Baby, baby.
That was hard, bro. Like a fucking frog. But anyway, when this project came out, I mean, before this, I was on comeback season. Like I was on comeback season. This is the MySpace era. You know, when Drake first came out, I remember seeing Drake at Wale performed at Highline Ballroom, and Drake was just this like 2008. I never forget, like this.
You saw him in 2008?
Yeah. Because I was listening to Drake's music on MySpace really
Drake,
heavy.
you blocked this nigga?
Whatever. Just let me tell my fucking story, dog. Why you always gotta go there? No, but I mean, I was there with young Chris because he was performing with Wale, and Kid Cudi had performed. I remember Leonardo DiCaprio was at the show. It was crazy. And then Drake had walked up to young Chris and he was like, yo, man, I always been a fan. I always liked your music. And young Chris didn't know who he is. I was like, do you know who that is? He's like, no. I said, that's Drake. He's like, who's that? I was like, you won't see in a minute. And then So Far Gone came out after this, right? But in terms of just this project, I think that this project kind of set the standard of what music was gonna be for the next years to come. That's why he ran.
Did you guys feel that at the time the project dropped? Obviously, we're looking back a decade now. You clearly love him. But when this was out, did you guys predict that he could possibly have such a strong run?
I thought he was going to be the best. I thought that he would be the best rapper. I thought he would be the best rapper around that time, only because I couldn't believe that he was singing as good as he was rapping, right? And then when we started getting into the like just the project, right? Like Lust for Life, just how he started off the project, everything. Then what didn't they have October very own? They had that Tumblr around that time. That's how they was releasing a lot of their music. Yeah, the Blogspot shit. I mean, this project, how many kids we talking 10 years ago, right? So think about a kid that's 10 years old, that's 19, that's rapping and singing.
You're going to say how many kids are conceived to this project.
No, I was going to say that, but I'm thinking about like in terms of like, I don't know how old YNW Melly is, or like some of these kids that sing and rap now, but this is what they grew up on when they were 10, 11 years old. And you look up 2009, it doesn't seem that long ago, but this is 10 years, right? So how many artists were birthed out of this project alone? There's a lot.
Right.
I look at this as when Drake hit his stride. In working on what was going to be his sound and carving out that lane. Of course, he got a lot of influences from Kanye, Kid Cudi, but like he was kind of honing those like skills or even borrowed skills, I guess, from like the other two legends and kind of creating his sound. And after this dropped, in the next 2 years, I felt he mastered his sound. When this dropped, did I think he was going to do that? No, I did love a bunch of songs on it though. But it like, you know, sometimes we see flash in the pan greatness and we see some dope shit. But these days I'm so reluctant, and even back then I'm so reluctant to be like, oh yeah, that's going to be the guy who runs it for the next 5 or 10. I ain't see that shit at all.
Really?
When this dropped? No.
Yeah, for real.
No.
This shit was really good. I mean, like we joked about it. Like I was on Nat Piff, super heavy, right? So I remember like I think at this time I had like the first like touchscreen BlackBerry. Like you had to download it and put it on your SD card.
Chirp phone?
Huh?
No chirp phone? Nah,
chirp phones was out the picture at this time. You know what I mean? Chirp phones out the picture. But I just think like this music is like it kind of transitioned music on another level, like just digitally, because the only place you could really get it, like nobody was listening to this on CD. The only place you could really get it was online, you know, and then you had to online and plug your car up to the aux, all of that. But just think about all the joints he has. There's a lot of bars on here too. There's a lot of bars on here.
This made him a prodigy in terms of people saying, yo, this is like, imagine seeing when LeBron just got in the league, like, damn, this could be the dude.
Right.
I'm just always skeptical of them
He's skeptical of everything.
I'm like, man, that nigga's overhyped. And didn't the Young Money album happen shortly after?
I think so.
Like 2010, right?
No, the Young Money album was before that. It was before that? Yeah, I think it was before that. Was it before that?
I thought it came right after.
I thought it came right after, because I remember hearing...
December 2009.
Yeah, so that was
right.
towards
Like a few months
and I
later.
remember I was like, okay, but I'm like, I'm still skeptical. I'm like,
that's with Bedrock and all that on there.
Yeah, that was a good
but then he was stringing along these like dope songs, and I was like, how long could it last?
But then remember, he broke it down and did the EP version that had The Fear on it. That was another record, The Fear, and then I'm Going In, the joint with Weezy, and was Jeezy on that joint too? I'm going in, because I'ma go hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeezy's on it. Yep.
Yeah, Jeezy's on it too. So it's like, I mean, this time you'll always remember that time. I think that's what makes like a classic or like just a moment. You always remember where you was at when this came out, and you always remember like what was going on around that time.
One thing I will say for any aspiring artists, just wrapping up, is that reading his thank you note, which was very long, but of course, over 10 years, you got mad niggas to thank. It's not surprising that so many people who he named are still with him, especially in his team. I do believe if you're gonna be lasting, you can't be switching niggas in and out and just like chess pieces.
Right.
You know, the first person you start off by thanking, his manager and business partner, Future the Prince, a nigga who he said when 10 years ago you were DJing all age like birthday parties and shit like that. And to see us grow from then, and you know, like we even, you know, you look at LeBron and you see LeBron and Rich Paul, like you see how their like friendship has turned into something much more and evolved over like a decade as well. That makes you think, yo, to keep it real, like you need strong people around you from almost the get-go.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the most integral part of like being successful, is having the right team that can not only advise you, but kind of have foresight of where you need to be. Because while you're being creative, you need to have somebody that can work on all the other things. I mean, look at his relationship with LeBron. From that time, he was spending a lot of time in Cleveland too around that time, but look at his relationship with LeBron from then up until now. How many things that they've done together. You know, his relationship with, he grew with Jay-Z, because when did Blueprint 3 come out? That was around like 2009 or 2010? Yeah, it was about the same time. Around the same time, and what they've grown that to be. So I think like you have to have people that's around you that's just gonna see the future for you. That's gonna say, all right, we have to think 10 years later. I would really want to hear an interview with him where he's talking about this time as opposed to like right now and what he was thinking then to now.
Shit, also, you gotta remember 2009, like, Wayne is that nigga.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I remember Wayne came out rapping there's a song, I can't remember. What's it called? It's like, I got 24 hours.
I don't know, Wayne has so many raps, but I know my favorite bars from Wayne is.
No, but Wayne came out to an award show. It was an MTV award show, and instead of rapping his verse, he rapped Drake's verse.
Oh.
And I remember watching that, I was like, that's like, the nigga at the moment kind of giving his artist, and that's one thing niggas could never say about Wayne. He was always down to pass the ball. Yeah. And I remember watching them rap on Ransom and a couple of the tracks, and I'm like, listen, if I'm the boss and you see like another nigga like rapping up to almost your par, a jealous nigga, you hold that nigga back.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
now Drake came up. Think about this. I mean, when Wayne was on tour, he had Drake singing Bobby Valentino's part on Mrs. Officer. A lot of people don't remember that. Like Drake was singing Mrs. Officer part for Bobby Valentino. Like from that to now, like he's always given the platform. That's why you always gotta respect Wayne. He's always giving his artists a platform.
Yo, Drake, I know you get a lot of shit and there's a lot of jokes, but we appreciate you. It's been a beautiful decade of great music. We want another decade, man. It's kind of amazing.
It's a lot of speculation on what I feel about Drake.
Speculation.
Nah, seriously, I cannot deny.
I don't think anyone can deny. No matter what we say, what we talk about, what jokes there are, no one can deny how talented he is.
I asked this question on my Instagram, and I'll end it by throwing it out to both of y'all. Another decade takes us to like 2029?
Yeah, 2029.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all think going into 2030, Drake is still even remotely as influential, dominating as he is now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I say yes, but in different ways. Like, I think he has another few years of great music in him, but I do think, or hope that he makes that transition, whether it's acting Drake, who then produces an entire soundtrack or a TV show. I just think the next step is coming, but I do think he will be very influential.
Yo, people knock Drake for a lot of things, but like they'll be like, hey, you know what, he's got lazier with the lyrics, and you know, he still comes back every now and then and be like, yo, here's a lyrical song. But one thing we can't ever say about him, he always got his hand on the pulse of, or his finger on the pulse of the culture when it comes to, always has the next hottest song. Like the shit that you drop and everybody's like, oh, this is it.
No, I think he's definitely, I mean, when I think about Drake in the terms of like where his career is gone and where his career is going, I see it the same way I see Jay-Z's career in terms of like relevance. I feel like like Jay, the reason why everybody always called him Young Hov is because he always stayed around youth. I think like if you want to last in this game as an artist, as a creator, you have to have youth around you. You have to have young people like influencing you as well. So I think that's never going anywhere. Like I think he'll be good.
He'll be great.
10 years from now, he'll be fine. In 10 years from now, he'll only be like, what, 42 years old or some shit like that?
Well, he's setting a rap. He ain't rapping past 35. So I want to see if he he listens to his raps. By the way, I just want to say, randomly unrelated topic, but happy birthday to Gucci. His birthday was yesterday. He turned 39.
Gucci Mane?
The Gucci Mane.
Does Gucci Mane change his name now? Nah, I'm playing.
What should he turn in?
Just call me Mane now.
Just call me Mane.
Guwap.
Guwap.
All right, so real quick, whenever Kanye does come back to social media, he has a lot of messages to answer. So Soulja Boy decided to call him out yesterday, tweeting, "Somebody call Kanye and check. He's been super quiet since my comeback." And then tweeted at him, "Are you good, fam? You mad quiet out here. Tweet something. Let me know you straight. I'm the hottest rapper right now. You all cap."
The only thing I love about this is that he used mad quiet correctly in New York slang
People
terms.
say it wrong?
I mean, a lot of people don't say mad, like, you know what I mean? They don't use our words, so everybody's, like in New York, all these kids are saying drip and cap, all that South shit, so I'm happy that somebody from
Is
the South
using our vintage
decided
slang
to
out
use
here.
mad, you know what I mean, in the right context.
Oh, man, all right, we're almost
Soulja Boy really just trying to bait out Kanye into a beef. Yo, Soulja, hey, listen, I think Soulja's trying to extend that 15 he got, and yo, hopefully the music picks up.
Yeah, I heard he got some shit on the way.
All right, so I think we got a couple more stories that we can't get to. We'll do these tomorrow because we're running a little bit late. But real quick, before we go, we're still celebrating Black History Month here, and we want to help out the city of Chicago right now and support also Chance the Rapper. So we want to give a shout out to Amara Enya. So she's a Nigerian-American politician and an activist who's currently running to be mayor of Chicago. She previously ran in 2015, but since then, she's been very, very vocal in the city about calling out corruption. We know that Rahm Emanuel is not the guy, advocating for mental health and also pushing for more voter registration. I believe in the last election, only 30% of eligible voters actually did. So Chance has been heavily supporting her. She's trying to get a lot of college-age voters out there. I believe yesterday was the first day of early voting in Chicago, so she even marched to the polls. So please, if you are in Chicago and you're eligible, go register, go vote, support your city.
Yeah, dope for Amara Enya. I said that right?
Enya,
yeah, but I mean, this is what's really awesome about this is with Chance getting behind her. This is why he hasn't put out some music in such a long time, because there's more things on his mind than just collecting a bag or going on tour. He's really trying to change shit for his city. So
there's no ceiling on the influence of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So this is amazing. Let's infiltrate politics. Like, we got to take over. It's the only way. We're only gonna get what we deserve.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I'm really excited about her candidacy, and I've been, just impressed with how Chance approaches all these things and how serious he takes it, and also, it's a form of giving back. Like, he comes from this community, and he's tired of, it's easy to say fuck the president or fuck the mayor or the governor. It's a difference when you're trying to, you're down there. I've seen this nigga march multiple times in terms of leading people to vote or other things. And you always gotta just salute to Chance. Also salute to there's other rappers and other activists in Chicago who kind of do the same thing, even though me and Vic Mensa will even have words like Vic Mensa, no, on some real shit.
He does
Vic Mensa,
the community a lot.
when it comes to these very progressive efforts, he's with it too. I encourage him to do that. Stop doing music. Let's do that. Nah.
See, he had to fucking say
He's so
something,
petty,
right?
bro. He's not gonna change.
No, but seriously, no, I like this type of stuff.
Yeah,
I like
no,
this type
it's good. We
of
need to be
stuff.
more
And as Chicago has been this thing where hip hop, especially during that drill era, everybody stood back and looked, was like, this is so crazy over here. There's real lives and real people affected by it, and for the people who are there who recognize it and try to take the torch and carry it, I really respect it.
Hey, if you guys actually go out and vote in Chicago, can you send us a picture? Take a little selfie. Can you do it actually at the polls? I don't know. Outside the polls, something like that. Tweet it to us at Everyday Struggle on Twitter with 2 Gs. We'd love to put up all your photos of you guys who went out to vote and support.
Dope.
And I think that's it for today.
That's it.
We'll be back here tomorrow. Is our favorite day of the week, Thursday, Friday.
I had one story we were going to get to, but we're going to get to it tomorrow.
No, we'll save it for tomorrow. And if you guys have any fan questions as well, please send those. Please send videos. Stop being shy.
Send them
We
videos.
want to see your lovely faces. Apologies, we're probably going to be late today. We're the worst. But anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Everyday Struggle.
I'm not the worst.
I'm not the worst. It's not me. It's not me.